Hi. We've been facing technical difficulties today. So as you can see, I have myself logged in two different profiles. Just gonna wait till a couple of minutes to let people come in. Okay, well, I guess we'll wait one more minute and let whoever is going to come in at this time, give them time to come. Make sure I plug this up. Okay, so it is officially 4:05. Sometimes people tend to come in a bit after and they miss some of it. But as I was saying earlier, we were experiencing a lot of technical issues with Zoom as far as um, sound and connection issues. And so, for those of you who didn't get to, I guess, get the full message from previous time, I am going to also be recording so that we could send it to those people who experienced, the brunt of the technical issues or who were not able to attend because of it. I am going to share my screen in a bit. So let me know if you can see the screen. Did you try to attend earlier, Robert? I can't hear anything. If you were saying something, it's like now you're on mute. But if you were saying something, Robert, I couldn't hear you. Okay, get, I can see the screen. Can you hear me well? If you are having sound or technical issues as well, maybe try the chat box to let me know if you can hear me. Okay, great, thank you. Because on my computer end here, I'm having a lot of technical issues there. But anyhow, my name is Destiny Ray. Me neither. That's what I was saying when we've been having a lot of technical issues with Zoom today, and it's been horrible. No one from our earlier time, we had 10, 2, and 4. No one from our earlier time was able to make it or get in. And at the 2, p.m. It crashed right in the middle. Might be the weather. Here where I'm at on this side of town, I'm in Houston. Um, we have scattered showers sometimes where it'll rain on one side of town and not the other. Oh, you're in Texas too. So, because we are recording, my name is Destiny Ray. I have my assistant Crystal reach out to be able to get you guys the message about this opportunity. We are seeking tax pros, but we're also looking for other positions or roles to be filled as well. And unfortunately, when the message was cast out, some of you guys, there were a lot of responses, but some of you guys were um, says you're muted, you're not sure why. I don't know why the sound isn't coming through either. I actually am having to have two devices just so that you can have picture and sound. Um, I, I don't know. I'm just trying to roll with it. So, well, thank you for that. So a lot of you guys were kind of misinformed or didn't quite get a good picture of who we are and what we're looking for. So hopefully this presentation will help clear that up. The presentation is only about maybe 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, but we give time for you guys to be able to ask questions and get them answered. We do offer other services, and we'll talk about those a bit later. I do want to thank you for joining today. Again, we want to be respectful of your time and be adhere to the hour schedule as best as possible. We are Tax Monkey and Accounting. That's the official name, and our website is gotaxmonkey.com. These are some of the services that we offer. We do coaching and consulting. We advise them on how to start and grow their business. If they need help filing LLCs, incorporating S corps to C corps, converting from one type to another, enrolling into the payroll system with the IRS, getting the EINs, registering the trademarks. We actually process the trademarks on the national scale. We help them with business licenses for themselves or their buildings. We help them with any permits, annual certification and compliances. We help with preparing the taxes as the main reason why we have this campaign out to find more of a support team in that area. But we also have tax planning. Tax planning is a bit different from tax preparation because it involves more of the strategy behind why larger companies like Amazon and the Dells pay little to nothing as far as taxes is concerned, but they make millions and billions of dollars. They don't just start during tax season, they actually start earlier, and they have experts to be able to help guide them to qualify for those tax deductions instead of just coming across and seeing what they can get at that time. Whereas most tax preparers and CPAs just do a basic return, they'll take what you have, fill it out, and send it on, to the next person. If you owe, you owe. They typically don't try to uh, get your liability down, basically. So they're quite limited as far as what they can offer and what they do offer. Because a lot of them I've come to find they don't know what, or how to do that. And that's actually how it's an advantage, just how we are able to win over a lot of clients because we're filling in the gaps and solving the problems that other companies present. So yeah, there are options. We have a business funding program. We broker the loans, the private investor equity loans. We help them to get the business credit cards. We have a portal, a whole finance suite that's available for the memberships and for the one-time people we have like workshops that will also basically provide business loan assistance that's telling you how to qualify. And then at the end of those, we actually put through their funding applications, and we get them, get the ball rolling on that. Most times, the brokerage companies will just say, hey, whether you qualify right here or right now, that, what you get, what you see is what you get. And they don't help you much further than that. But we do. The last piece is like consumer law, immigration, trusteeship, and power of attorney. So, consumer law and immigration piece, basically, that's claiming withheld tax credits as far as status and things like that. It's a bit advanced private banking. Um, and then there's the immigration piece. So, that's getting their I-10s. Being a CAA, which is a certified acceptance agency, where we're able to receive their documents and process their applications a lot quicker as far as citizenship than if they were to go directly to the IRS. And they actually don't lose their documents because they're not sending us their hard copies or their real documents. They're sending us copies of them, and we go through and process them through there. So, Airby, we do offer several legal and professional services, and we've been in business for over 7 years. We are based in the Houston, Texas metro area, and we're looking to grow our team. Eventually, we aim to grow and have office space in starting with the local major areas, major cities in different parts of towns and different major areas of the country. It was messing up again. So here's the agenda, because I like to let you guys know what to expect as far as the presentation, kind of let you know where you are and not kind of be blindsided, kind of wondering for placement and whatnot. So the first thing, obviously, is to be able to introduce a new career opportunity. You're going to weigh the pros and cons to see if it's a good fit for you or not, if that's something that you can see yourself doing. And if all goes well, everything's a go, I'd like to be able to invite you and extend an invitation to join the team. So, so here are some positions that are available. We are looking for tax preparers, obviously. We're looking for their assistants. The tax preparer is more or less a managerial position. And then there's like a flex opportunity. So the way that you see it here, you're going to see it slightly different, because depending on what you're looking, or how you're looking to be able to start, your role can be a bit different because we offer different roles. I know at this point, usually there's questions because we did cover quite a bit of ground. So let's go ahead and start with some Q&As. If you have any questions, if you're still having sound issues, you can put your questions in the chat box, and I'll answer them then. If not, then I guess unmute yourself. Did you have any questions so far? Okay, great. So let's move along. So the first thing is talking about some of the requirements in order to become a tax preparer. Obviously, with the more certifications, which these certifications are fairly easy considering you're not having to go to college and spend a gajillion years in a classroom in order to become certified. We actually work with and have accredited professors who will give you those college credit hours, the CE, continuing education credit hours. You're going to learn a bit more about what those are. We have a certification program with TMU, which is Tax Monkey University. You get a P10. P10, they've actually made it a lot easier for you to get a P10 in the last year. They've lowered the price, and they've made the process a lot more convenient than it has been. And I guess you guys just got lucky, because at first they were charging like $75 or so. they've less than half that to be able to get a P10. A P10, if you didn't know, especially for those of you who are watching the recording, no, we can't see you. It's black. It's showing it's blacked out. Just like my account or profile that I'm streaming from. So no, you're fine. So yeah, I'm live currently, but I'm recording it. So a P10 is a preparer's tax ID number for those of you who are watching the recording and you were not able to attend for whatever reason, whether it's your schedule or the horrible technical issues we've been having with Zoom, unfortunately. But you would be generating new tax leads in addition to the ones that we provide to you. And I'm preparing the client returns. They're going to have questions, so you're going to basically be advising them and answering those questions, and then offer additional services as needed. So really the main difference between the tax preparer's assistant, the TPA, and the tax preparer or tax pro advisor themselves is not having the certification. Now, not having the certification means, having the certification means that you'll be able to make more money, of course, because you're able to process and do a lot more of it yourself, but you're still able to clean house and do really well without the certifications and going through the training. The other thing is to become a account manager. Now, this is a flex position. That means that you can generate leads and close sales, but you can work in any department offering any of the services that we have once you get a bit more of an understanding. Of course, you're going to take one thing at a time, but you're going to see how a lot of the problems that your clients or customers will come to you for, they're going to need help in other key areas, which makes the resistance to sell them or offer them a different service. It makes the resistance a lot smoother. It goes away almost essentially, and it makes it a lot easier for them to say yes to you, and you're able to help them with more, which means you're able to make more money. The additional services outside of tax preparation, you get 10% of those sales. So that's just another revenue center that you are able to do. So definitely any suggestions, we'll actually go a bit more in depth in that, but basically more suggestions on how to generate the flex leads is basically talking to them. If I'm coming to you and I'm talking to you, for example, if I first got you on the calendar or in the virtual doors to do an appointment, and I'm asking you, the due diligence questions for your taxes, I'm getting to learn other aspects about yourself, and because because they're disclosing that information to you, you can say, oh, okay, well, you can do this, and we also offer this, and this will help you solve this problem, etc. And when you're approaching them that way, it's a lot easier because they don't feel that you're just trying to sell them into something and throw a bunch of stuff. You're saying, hey, I got something that can address that problem and help you out with that. So that's what I mean by it being a lot easier to sell them on other things, because they typically want to come and deal with one person and ask them that. So we do teach you we do teach you how to be able to talk to them to get them to, let you do their taxes, or to get them into become a bookkeeping or accounting client, or some other type of service that we can help them with. And in addition to us doing that, we advise you and show you how to do it a number of ways that include online and in the community, like in person. And so if you can see here, different social media platforms have different I guess components. So we'll show you various ways how to do that. You can pick and choose which ones work best for you. There are different caveats to each. There are different lead lists that you could get. their search pages, their directories. We're listed in some official directories and some non-official directories as far as companies. And then like the next option would be your community. That's basically word of mouth referrals, um, family and friends, community centers, etc. We actually do, and I actually show you about that a bit later on too, because we get that question a lot. And then print flyers, or you can take the little flyers, and you don't have to print out a bunch of them. Just put them in a main central location. Like if it's a washateria, you can put, with the little thumbtack or put the little tearaways, stuff like that. And then there are like JV partnerships where if you guys are familiar with how you could go to a dealership and see that they're connected to a tax company and they'll have you'll complete the tax return. They'll refer them to you. You'll complete the tax return, but you'd be giving the refund to the dealership for like a down payment or fees or what have you, in order for them to be able to get that car. So another way is by churches or community centers or influencers. I'm having other messages that came in. So the quickest way for me to typically fill your calendar is when I would go to the community centers, ones who offered community assistance, financial literacy programs, and things like that. They would allow us to come and set up shop in those community centers on either days they already had something going on. A lot of people were expected to come anyway. Those were the best turnouts. They would have fairs, or or they'd create an event or a reason for them to come, and all of the people would just flock in. We would intake their name, number, information to be able to contact them, and then after the event was over, then we'd go and process all the returns, and that way we'd be able to get to talk to the most people there. And time management and different methods and stuff like that is actually something that we cover in there in the training a bit more in depth. So, but that's just to give you an idea of what to expect, so that it's more realistic and doable in your mind. Now, because everyone either has to file or pay taxes, your niche or your customer avatar, it could literally be anything that you want it to. So what that means is that you're not limited to the type of people that you can work with or who you can work with. If you're finding that maybe this type of customer or this specific individual isn't so easy to work with, or you don't relate, or you're not being able to attract the type of client, you could just as easily switch and go pick something else. You're not stuck. Basically, you have a lot of leeway. You could work with everybody, or you could work with a specific type of person. Right. Another sector. So with the vertical as wide as this, you could also specialize. So instead of going wide, you could go deep, or higher up the ladder, and do a specialization. Like some of the things that we offer is helping them get their tax ID numbers. Most tax preparers or other people don't do that. That's literally a one-off service for most people. Getting their EIN, getting their tax ID numbers, all of that stuff. So typically, it depends on what they're trying to do and how, but it could be anywhere from a few $100s to about $1,000. The tax ID numbers, if they're trying to just do that by themselves, it would be 150, and we have where it's also included if they're trying to get an entire uh, business filed. So as far as the prices and whatnot, like we definitely have a matrix that will cover when you start like training, for example. So again, some of the requirements to become a tax pro advisor is obviously to get the preparer's tax ID number, which we do help you with. It's an easy application process, like maybe 2 pages online. You can't owe money to the IRS. Now, some people kind of get a a misconstrued idea of what can't owe money to the IRS means. If they have already told you an amount, not that you hadn't filed taxes, because some people don't actually have a need, they didn't make any money or anything, or don't have anything to file. But let's say, for example, if they've already told you, like from a federal school program, like a loan or something, that you owe, and that's also case by case basis. That's something that even if you did have some situation, you definitely would still be able to, work through them that, situation. So you're not like totally disbarred. But I do like to kind of let people know what potentially could happen so that they're not blindsided. I couldn't imagine, you know, being basically having my heart set on something and I'm able to do it and I get, blocked from something unforeseen. Um, you do have to keep a minimum number of annual credits. We do provide that free. And I expound a bit about that in a second coming up. And then obviously, like I mentioned, to go through TMU, the Tax Monkey University, to get that certification. You're going to take a simple quiz just to make sure that you understand the rules of ethics and how to be able to go through that entire process. And so that, first of all, we feel comfortable sending you out there to talk to people representing us, and that you feel comfortable and confident that you could do it without someone shadowing you or being of assistance. So you kind of want to know how this will change your life. Well, I mean, you're gaining a 6-figure skill for life. It's also recession proof. This past couple of years, a lot of people, especially when the shutdown first happened, they lost their job. All of these job opportunities, these government jobs that people were so, dependent and proud to have, all of these jobs they've been on 5, 10, 15, sometimes even 20-year overnight, everything just vanished, shut down. Every 10 years or so, if you've been paying attention to trends, there is a new recession, a new reason why people are not able to either buy something or even make the money to buy something. And you need some opportunity to bring in income to support yourself and your family that is not going to be hindered or blocked by that. There was a term, I'm really having a hard time remembering what it was called, but the people that were called necessible, or I don't remember the term, but I'm pretty sure um, you guys can think of the word. But they were not necessary, basically, and they were let go and forced to figure it out. And it was hard for a lot of people. And ultimately, surprisingly or not, the non-essential, thank you, that's the word, the non-essential workers. Those people, a lot of them, they didn't really have jobs, so they basically were not filing. So you actually can come up now, and these people actually starting to work now. They're starting to file those 1 and 2 years that they didn't file. So that's more basically 2 for sales for you. Some people file quarterly and some people file monthly. It just depends on what their schedule and their preferences are. So that's another way you can get like repeat customers. I think that's super cool. You also have no cap on the earning potential. We are looking for managers and people who are team builders to be able to work and join the team, because we need more agents. And that is only going to be able to help you. And I'm going to show you in just a second why and how. The schedule is flexible, so is the location, because you are remote. You have the option of being remote. And if you are in Houston, Texas area, you'll be able to work in office and also be remote as well. But as long as you have an internet connection, quiet place to work, you have a phone so you can speak to people. There are even apps that you can use on the computer, or VoIP systems, which are voice internet provider and voice internet phone, that you could be able to speak to your clients. You can speak to them on Zoom, just like how I'm recording and talking to you guys now. And like there are a lot of ways around that saves you on commute. The work-life balance is great because the schedule is flexible. You could even work during tax season or you can work all year round because people either file late, they'll file multiple times. It's really it's no other industry is going to be able to give you all of these different, check marks that we're marking off. And then we provide you everything you need with year-round support. Most tax preparation companies aren't even open all year round, so they can't help you all year round with those problems. And they definitely aren't giving you the level of support, nor the tools to be able to do that. A lot of times, especially if you're on commission only, or if you're working from home, or you're in some type of partnership, you yourself are responsible for bringing together all the softwares and components that we give you. So some of the clients, though, moving along that you'll help are individuals. So you'll be doing like personal taxes, like a Form 1040. Um, Filing their trust or their estates, which is like a 1041. The business taxpayer clients, you could help them. There are different forms that they file and like different other entity structures like a nonprofit, different type of nonprofits, some that are foreign grantors trusts that are not required to pay taxes, or like people who are exempt, but they like basically saying that they don't pay, but they still qualify for refunds. All of those are different specialty types that you could help them with, and you'll learn about in stages as you advance. Another type of client or way is again with the I-10s and certifying their documents, getting their I-10s with the Form W-7, helping the consumers file their tax credits and their documents and get bill credits, acting as the POA on their behalf because there's some advanced banking things for some of our specific clients that they basically are able to write off their everyday bills that are consumer credit transactions. And that's again an advanced thing. But simply put, long story short, the long short of it all is what I call it. You're doing a money management and accounting function. You're counting their money for them and managing it. Tax planning is yet another avenue to help clients and make lots of money due to the advisory component. You're not just filing their taxes, but you're also teaching them and advising them and guiding them on how to be able to qualify for more fundings. And they pay a lot more for that. So like a $500 return or $600 or $700 return, or if it's a business, like a $1,200 return could just as easily turn into, $1,000 a month, or like, $20,000 a month, whereas you're able to get 10% of that. So some are CPA, some are tax preparers, some of them are EAs, enrolled agents. So everyone's not coming in as, as the same level. But that's a great question. And some of them are CAAs, whereas they'll be the ones actually completing the documents um, for the people who need the I-10, and the non-citizen and the resident alien, or the national clients, basically. So here's another pause break for questions. Um, were there any questions so far on what we covered? Okay. So um, as a tax pro advisor, let's take a closer look at this opportunity. This is the real part, like that is really lucrative for you. You kind of have an idea now of who you're working with and what is going to be expected of you to do. And let's talk about the fun part. The fun part is the money. You guys, because you guys are going to be doing the bulk of the work, with your certification or in the management capacity, you guys are going to be getting the bulk of the return. So it's a 60-40 split in your favor. It is tiered just to make sure that you stay active and you don't get, complacent, and gives you guys something, to work towards. There are no fixed or set goals, like no hard quotas that you have to reach. We're not going to penalize you or give you high pressure, but we do set goals, something that you can work towards so that you stay productive, because otherwise what's the whole point? Like if you you don't work, you don't have anything built up as far as residuals or anything, you don't make any money. So we want to kind of get you to the point that you are making money. The average tax fee ranges from $450 to $1350, but it can start to be as much as $300. I've never really seen it $300, but the bare bones lowest minimum that it can be is $300, and it can go up as much as $1,500, $1,600 for a tax return, and you guys are getting the bulk of that, which is pretty awesome. So let's start for an example. Let's do some, math magic. If you were to um, get the lowest amount, which is her 450 there, and you got the 60%, that's about $270 a client. If you did, like, let's say, 20 of those, you'd get 5,400 a week. And even if you just did 10 at half, at half that amount, you get about 22 to 2,600 a week. So, that's pretty cool. Versus if you were just trying to do hourly, where you'd get a set number, no matter how many people you help. There's some jobs like customer service or sales that you could help 5 or 6 people in an hour, and on the generous side, like in conservative side, and still make $15 or $20 an hour, versus you're getting, a part of it. That's what makes a lot of people really reconsider doing something, different, like doing tax. As an assistant, you get 150 a return, and you still could have the same number of set goals, like 20 or 10 a week. That's still really good money, especially compared to how much people are making on a salaried or hourly job. And when you look at how much money you're making on a salary, they could still call you in to work additional hours, and you're not going to get any more. And they have the part where it's like exempt, meaning that they don't have to give you overtime pay. You just get whatever you get. And so when you calculate the number of hours versus what your salary for the week, even the year is, you're definitely sometimes that, $50,000 or that 60 or $70,000 is really like 10 or $12 an hour, because you're there all the time. It's fixing every problem. And a lot of times the managers are there on call. You don't have that problem here. The tax office managers, our offices outside of the Houston area are all virtual. So you manage likely a team of, we like our managers to have a team of at least about 5 people. Sometimes we'll send or assign someone to you depending on like your performance, but you would be, or you could be, you would be building your own team of who you want to be able to work with. And you'd still get the 60-40 split is also tiered. And so in addition to whatever they make from their own sale, you would be getting 10%. So you're not taking anything from them, but you're getting a new 10% basically. And everything else is pretty much the same. So you'd be able to make the 5,400 here plus whatever, 10% of the team's sales. Now, the flex position obviously is the 60-40 split if you were certified, 150 if you were not, but you get 10% of non-tax prep sales. So let's say if they were accounting clients and they paid $1,000 a month, you get something called residuals. If you guys don't know what residuals are, that means as long as your customer has a subscription type or a membership type service where they're a recurring bill where they're paying every month, you guys are able to get residuals, in addition to when you first initially sign them up. And the average sale, depending on what the business's income is, can be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 or sometimes $5,000 and $10,000 that they'd be paying in accounting fees, where you're able to take 10% of that non-tax prep sale, and everything else again, remains the same. So, how do you get paid? You get paid weekly. You get paid direct deposit, and then payroll is going to send you a 1099. A 1099 means that there are no taxes deducted, so you are responsible for paying your own tax. But there's a huge bonus to working and being, with the tax company, is that you get to use the software to do your own taxes. So just like that problem, it really solves itself, I think. And the cool part is that if you do a minimum of 10 returns, um, we use TaxSlayer. We use TaxSlayer, and then there's another one that we're joining. That we're going to be adding. You guys can work on two um, two different software platforms. And the reason, or the caveat between that, is that the second one is offering, of course, incentives to bring us more leads and partnerships, so that we can just focus on having you guys' calendars full. And yes, even though we're in the middle of tax season, most people are just now starting to get around to get their stuff. Some people have gotten their returns and their documents late, although the rules state that they're supposed to send them out by the end of January. Some people didn't get them until mid February, and or they've had problems with the mail. And then in addition to them getting their documents, and some getting them late, they still have to gather their other documents, or income statements, etc., and find time to get in and find somebody and speak to them to get their taxes done. So I still have some returns to do now when I get off the call with you, in addition to doing correspondence. So with that being said, don't let that be, an issue of you getting started, because also people file late, they get extensions, you could help them with that. Some people file multiple times throughout the year. Some business or others, entities, they file quarterly, or they'll file monthly. It just depends. And some of them, they are having to file multiple years at a time. I have a few of those that I'm filing. Some I've filed 5 and 6 years at a time. Yes, 5 and 6 years at a time. I can already feel and hear and into it, you guys saying, "Whoa, yeah." So that's like, don't be discouraged. Some people owe debts, and you could potentially help them catch up from that. And it's just what you make it. So to kind of give you guys an idea of what the training is going to be like and what to expect, we're gonna start with the foundation. That's getting your tax ID number, your preparer's tax ID number, your IRS credentials, getting your orientation started. That's you making sure that you have all access to the trainings and whatnot, and going through the company culture to learn what the expectations, etc., are, and the proper channels, who to speak to if you have any questions, and all of that good stuff. Then you're going to be learning tax law and ethics. So there are two types of trainings that we have. The first training is self-paced, okay, and that is where you're going to get like a login, and there are recordings, and there are modules that you'll go over. That's the boring stuff. That's the rules, the regulations, etc. And then we have a live training where we meet on Zoom, and we'll talk live, answer questions, provide feedback. And sometimes some people can, because everybody learns different, they'll have issues as far as how something was presented in that training. And so we'll go over the material to make sure that everybody's on the same page. We do that live in kind of a boot camp like setting. After you guys go through that, and the ones who are going through the certification, you're essentially going to be going through the same training pretty much, but you're not having to take the test and going through to pass 80%. But everybody still has to be able to be seamless as far as where they are. Getting a login access. So we give you a calendar to host all of your appointments, and obviously the software in order to do the tax. You got to be able to know how to navigate it, how to work it, what to expect, etc., and what those different key asks are. We go over that together. Then we learn the basics and like the business returns, which is you starting with individuals and then business. You learn those in levels because there are different types of business. Uh, there are different business types, and so some of the forms. So some of so some of the schedules of the forms are different that you'd be filing. And then we cover tax marketing sales. And that's basically what I was touching on earlier about how to be able to get someone to, want to work with you to do their taxes, how to do the due diligence. That's basically making sure that what they're saying is reasonable, it checks out, that they're not just basically committing tax fraud. Um, so how to do troubleshooting if you run into any error or um, a catch-22 type situation, a dilemma, and basically how to walk the clients through the sales process from start to finish. We've gone through every avenue. We are open to feedback, but we are continuously improving the sales process to make it a lot more enjoyable, shorter for everyone, and easier thereby, so that you can be able to help more people and it's less taxing, pun intended, um, on you guys to be able to finish it. But here's a cool part. As I mentioned before, you guys are, starting in just one area. But how many career opportunities will let you come in and get a certification? I don't know any traditional job or even opportunity that will allow you to do that. You already have to come in the door with a degree, a 2 or 4 year degree. And oftentimes what they're willing to pay versus is very menial in relation to what they're expecting you to do. And this is not the case here. I totally disagree with that. And we don't have that culture here, which is why we typically tend to have um, a lot of retention where people will stay and they'll go to different areas, and they'll want to grow. And that leaves more room for more people to want to be able um, to come in and start. So, but they're also able to start and move along with us. So what if that came with career advancement? Next year, which is actually now at the time of this, because this is from some time back, this presentation. Next year, after tax season, there will be an opportunity to help non-citizens with their immigration documents for even more profitability, and that's the W-7, the I-10 that I mentioned. So here's kind of a corporate ladder in a sense. It's a very rudimentary advancement within Tax Monkey University. You're going to be starting here with basic individual tax returns, the business tax returns by the niche, because again, every business niche or type is different. They got different rules that apply, and then there are different forms. That's the W-7 in immigration documents, trusteeship for consumer law. That's like mid, that's like a high level or advanced, and then there are court fees and bonds, which is the highest. Not many people are going to be able to even process to do the court fees and bonds to be able to actually redeem that as a tax credit because it's private banking. But it is there. So you kind of want to get an idea of what comes with the tax training. The software, of course, you get an annual access or license to the software with your certification in the mobile app. You guys get a mobile app. I'm going to touch on that a bit later next. But to be able to complete the tax returns, we teach you marketing, basically how to talk to them and not make everything so difficult to be able to get someone in the door and to work with you. We give you warm leads and appointments, but of course, the tax marketing is to help supplement that so that your calendar is as full as you'd like it to be. Not everyone that you work with or that is sent to you or signs up with you is going to want to, or can follow through. So you need other avenues. You need more people to make sure that you can hit your own personal goals. And that's why knowing how to get more people in the door is and very important. Uh, you could even come in seminar style and then have the people who are ready to go forward with you to do like a kind of sign in sheet to stay on, and then show them what you need them to do all at the same time, and then you'll follow up with each one individually to complete the tax interview. There are lots of different ways and that I've found and come up with over time that works, and we cover and go over that. You're going to obviously learn tax law, so that's helpful to yourself and your family. And you get custom marketing materials. So there's a custom flyer and a business card with your picture and the contact information, so clients will call you directly. Now, for those of you who are going through the certification, I'll actually have um, some flyers and a business card sent out to you. They'll be mailed to you. But if you are just a TPA, you will you'll be sent the digital business card, and you'll print those out yourself. But your first run of business cards and flyers will be sent to yourself. To answer the question, how long we've been in business, we touched on that, I believe earlier. That was one of the slides. We've been in business for about 7 years, going on 6 or 7 years. And we did a name change, a rebranding a couple of years ago to make it more streamlined to legal and uh, more basically a better branding. It was more streamlined. Um, but oh, okay. So you guys who are getting your certification, we also give you a free polo. The polo is worth $54. It's going to be sent to you. You get your first one um, with the certification, and the marketing materials to get someone to design that for you, to get them printed, takes about $500. We actually cover that and send that to you um, for free. Your first box, and some other things that comes with working with us is getting help with the IRS P10. A lot of the companies, in fact, all of the companies require you to walk that process and do it yourself. Okay, you don't get any help with that process. And when people have come to me and told me that, I was initially shocked, but it is what it is. But that's in order to become and to show legitimacy, getting your P10, your prepared tax ID number. I myself am not just a P10, I have other credentials. I'm also licensed to work in life insurance and others in multiple states and things like that. I'm also an ERO. An ERO is an enrolled return originator, which means that, for example, some tax preparers and some companies cannot send the returns on their own. They have to be sent to someone like me to review them, to be sent directly. They can input all their information into their software all day long, but they can't submit it until they send it to someone like me. So that's going to show you, the legitimacy um, of working with us. Here's the part about the ongoing CE credits here that I mentioned, continuing education credits. You need like 18. Um, I'm having a little brain fart because for my life insurance license, one of them you need 24 hours and the other one you need 18 credit hours. But we give that to you. We cover the cost for you. It's an average of $640. Sometimes less if you really, really bargain hunt and use coupons and Groupon and everything else. Sometimes it can cost more than that. But 640 is about an average. and we cover that for you as long as you're working with us. We have an accredited professor to be able to do that. So the next thing is a two-way calendar. So this is to help keep you organized, and it's to cut back on the back and forth setting. Hey, do you have this time available? Hey, do you have that time? You just said, hey, these are the hours that you want to be able to work. Your schedule is set, and they pick what hours you have available between that. Again, like I mentioned earlier, year-round support. Year-round support is kind of unheard of because most people are not even available year-round. Um, a lot of the offices close, and the calendar is digital. You send them an invite either via email or by text or both. They'll get a confirmation, like a link, and then they'll get a confirmation so that they can, you're welcome, so that they can confirm or reschedule as they need to without having to, get in touch with you in order to do that. And that saves on back and forth correspondence and time phone talk too. Um, so there's several bank products offering clients $6,000 tax advances if they wanted to get direct deposit for the refunds. If they wanted to get a bank check, I've had to cut a couple bank checks. I actually have a lot of stocks. If they need to be printed, the checks, because you guys are in different states, I'll print them out here and I'll mail them out to them. And you just make sure that you charge them for like postage, which is like $10 from their refund. So they don't have to pay anything out of pocket. You can just, it's an actual thing you can add on and click when you're doing their return, which you'll be able to see that. They can get a traditional treasury check with the Our Lady Liberty on there. I think those look nice. I have a couple of those. The next thing is the direct deposit, the bank card, the little prepaid card. For those of you who are going through the certification, which is a paid certification because you have to take a test and things. You guys get a company email, your name at company.com. But if you are a tax preparer assistant, you can redirect them to either your manager's email or to the company's main email address, which is info@gotaxmonkey.com, the one a lot of you guys have probably come across while learning about today's meeting or the opportunity. So basically what we're looking for you guys to do is unlock your potential, working from home as a tax pro, helping these taxpayers with all things tax, as tax filings, as tax saving strategies, and if they have any tax debt, which is usually them not having have paid multiple years of tax at a time. The course training is online and you get a certificate at completion. Okay, here's an image of the mobile app here. The mobile app is also remote, is how we're able to be completely remote. You don't have to meet any of these people in person to do their taxes. You can work with clients all over the country, except for New York and Pennsylvania, because they require you to have extra licensing to work in those two states. And you really won't get that many people in those specific states to warrant you paying the extra certification money to do that to the IRS and to the state of New York. And so you may, if that's your personal preference, but some people just don't find it, worth the hassle. And that's just me being completely frank. You'll see that I'm very, upfront with a lot of things like that. But for some odd reason, this year we have been getting a lot of people from New York. So me personally, as a company overall, that's something that need to probably revisit that idea. The mobile app is going to help save you a lot of time because you're going to send them a link, okay? And the link is, I should include later what it looks like. That's something but you're going to send them a link. And the link is for them to basically create them a free account. The free account is them inputting and creating their own file. Okay. They're going to start it up. They're going to submit their identification, their valid identification, their W-2s. They're going to submit all of that stuff for you if they're computer literate. And that's going to save you a lot of time on data entry. Even if you are a TPA, a tax preparer's assistant, where the bulk or the majority of your responsibility is the data entry part. So that's pretty cool. That saves you time on going back and forth. Like maybe they don't have all their stuff at the same time. They're still waiting on documents. You know what's going to happen? They can just log back in. How cool is that? They don't have to call you. They don't have to text you. Hey, they don't have to do any of that. They could just log back in and upload it, and then you'll see it. If but if you need to, you can submit it. So that's going to save you on average, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes with each person. Because a lot of the time you're typing, you're just going to overlook to make sure that what they typed in, that there aren't any typical mistakes or misspellings, etc., and that they didn't leave anything out. And but that's going to save you a significant amount of time going back and forth, communicating with them, and then having to input that. I'll still do it, but if I have to do it, I typically will charge them a little bit more for that. The same as if they come to me and they're a business client and they don't have their income statements or reports all together, and I have to walk them through it. We charge them an accounting fee for that out of their return. So that also helps to make more money. And then there's a place for referrals on there. If they are referred to someone, we have an incentive to give them a referral fee where it's $50 for each person that they refer. And they're able to, that's another thing that you could use. And we have coupons actually that we print out to send to them. It started glitching so that you can do that. And once you complete the certification, you get to display this badge of honor on your website if you have one, on your social medias, your email, or we'll put them on your card, the first run of cards. If you want to use those cards and get to get reprints, you can do that as well. But it's going to show your status that you are certified. So this is what the certificate, the certification, upon course completion, this is what it looks like. Your name is obviously, it's going to go here and the day that you did it for completing the, distinguished course on whatever date that you go through it. And I think that it looks pretty, pretty spiffy there. So now I know that was a lot of information that we covered, but did you have any questions so far? I think I've been pretty thorough and you've asked some really good questions. But did you have any questions so far? I'm going to mute myself so that you can type and I can yeah, see, you aren't the only one having video and audio problems. So I've been having them all day and unfortunately lost a few people, which is why I'm recording it to hopefully send it to them in case they were one of the ones affected by the dubious issues. So you should get back in touch immediately or as soon as possible. The best way to do that is by the email or, yeah. So yeah, by the email and let me know, hey, I'm ready to get started. We'll send a calendar, a link out to you to set a schedule appointment for when you're wanting to get started to see which avenue you're wanting to take and how to best integrate you. because there are two, here's the thing. This is what we were, because we did change our offer before. We have the Tax Pro Plus course. That's a tongue twister. Tax Pro Plus course. That's you doing tax preparation, right? Helping them to file and stay in the clear working from home. And that's everything 100% online. But the next thing also, what we were offering separately is tax planning. You still had to go through tax preparation training to, know how to prepare the return. But you're able to make a lot more money with tax planning because herein you have the residuals. So if you wanted to, you could be a manager in a flex position. You can build a team, and then you can build a team and then get 10% of your team sale and 10% of non-tax prep sales. So that could easily net you up to the six figures, because just as you can see in a week or two, some people are bringing 50 for 100 a week and just doing returns. I still do returns myself because certain types of returns, the clients would prefer to, work or speak with me because I built rapport with them. Um, but you'll have your own clients that will be loyal to you and want to work solely or specifically with you. Some tasks I will what's the word, delegate to you guys in some sales, and some of them, depending on what they are, they're usually like the private banking, the ones that I do myself, and the document filings. You'd be gathering their information. For example, if you were helping them to file an LLC or something like that, you walk them through the form, asking them the questions of what they want to name it and doing the checks for XYZ. And like I would officially be the one to go and put their paperwork through and run it and send it to the Secretary of State or the IRS or whoever I need to, send it to. But yeah, the tax planning part, guys, that one is because you could be making, a lot of money with returns, but you can make bigger money, even bigger money, with tax planning because it involves advisory and the tax preparation. So that's pretty much, that's the last slide there. For those of you who were wanting to get started and to move ahead, you definitely want to reach out to me either by email or phone number. I'm going to put the office number in the chat really quick. And our email, the office, you can actually text. This number supports text and if need be, multimedia. 317-6784. That's the phone number. And then info at gotaxmonkey.com. That's the email address. And our website, we are going to be making some updates so it can look nicer and flow and be more functional. But that's the website there. Those are the different ways to be able to contact and let me know that you guys are wanting to get started. And let's see. Stop the screen share. Probably should have just, left it like that. Yeah. There's always some caveat where you're going you're live. So, I see you yourself are going to be thinking about this over the weekend. Alrighty. Thank you for showing up. And I'm going to go and end it a bit in just a second here. Um, for those of you who were not able to um, attend live or you missed the appointment, I would completely apologize for Zoom's mishap. A lot of people have been experiencing sound issues, like Robert here. I myself have had sound issues. As you can see, I have had multiple devices. So, and earlier it crashed right in the middle of our meeting time, unfortunately. So, there's that. Well, guys, it was great kicking it with you here. I've enjoyed all the questions. They're really good questions. They're what I call SAQs, should ask questions. Um, in addition to the frequently asked questions, which were already on the slides. If I can remember those, I'm gonna try and incorporate that into the presentation for next time, those good questions that you had. So with that being said, thank you. And I'm gonna be ending it, and I'll see you guys. Hopefully, I get some correspondence or some messages from you guys that you're ready to join the team. My name is Destiny Ray. I am the Fairy Godmother of Finance, and it is my job to bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots.